Hello. Once again, let me welcome you to the beautiful place of Zofin. Thank you for the opportunity to open this customer journey section. We have three great speakers after me as well. I will try to, let's say, not maybe talk about technical things today. I will try to somehow have a look on the perspective of customer journeys, maybe starting with onboarding. We have too much discussion, quite a lot of discussion about onboarding topics. I would maybe also mention something about these day-to-day interactions, because onboarding is important, but in terms of the relation between banking and a client, it happens just time to time, whereas these day-to-day interaction, we sometimes tend to forget about them because they tend to be impacted by maybe regulations, maybe some of the processes that we have. But I believe they deserve quite a level of balancing, fine-tuning the user experience. So I maybe share some of the experience, some of the thoughts on how to maybe improve these things about the day-to-day interactions. So maybe why I'm talking about digital identity. I mean, we are a technology provider. We take care about securing online applications, access to data, to applications, to services that bank is usually providing to its clients. And I do have a personal motivation about speaking about digital identity. And this is specifically, I hate this. I think we all deserve better things in our life than just to spending our life in the queues and just having these things. So becoming digitally somehow relevant. We want to have the ability sometimes to interact physically, sometimes to interact effectively in the digital world. And to support organization in adopting some of the new technologies, we kind of have to develop a platform that enables the migration from the legacy to the modern world, and maybe just to help a bit with the compliance issues as well. Because the banking, better than me probably that all the day-to-day business about banking is very, very regulated area. We have a number of regulations that are local, that are European-wide, and it's impacting all the processes that we implement in the interaction with our clients. So maybe just to share a bit thoughts on what we see with our customers is maybe we dividing these types of implementations into three types. One we would call maybe legacy, but it's some kind of heritage that we all need to deal with. I mean, we all have channels, we have online products, and most of the applications channels have some security inbuilt. They have some credential management, some identity management, which cause some of the complexity, tensions, complications, trying to manage the access to the data, trying to work with the data, causing some frustrations for the clients. So when we've been trying to achieve some of the consolidation and how to simplify access to data for the customers and simplifying adoption of compliance or regulation requirements, we kind of moved towards something, have a consolidated identity management to let's say, have one data about identity, to be able to serve the access to channels through one process that is aligned for all of the channels. So it's something that the user knows and is accommodated to, and to free up the business channels from the security requirements, legal and compliance issue. Really let them focus on the business value. We take care about the business, about the security and regulation concepts. So that's something we see that is very relevant and important in helping transformation within an organization or a bank. But what we also see, it's quite important that the whole world is changing through the world of connecting organizations, connecting applications. It's also far to say the relevant that we can have a look at it not only from the inside banking perspective, like we have the channels, but we can have a look that the bank has some role in the whole ecosystem. It provides some data to third parties. There are fintechs organizations that are leveraging the data that the bank, or even the services that the bank is providing. But and especially if we have the identity as an asset, we can work with that asset and provide additional benefit to our customers. For example, let them to access the government services with the identity that I have with the bank, or maybe to provide the identity to a third party that could help the organization for the third party to resolve the onboarding issues, for me as a bank, provide initial service to the client, and maybe get some benefit that I'm providing the data to the third party. So it's not only about investing, about increasing costs, but this could potentially provide some revenue stream to the organization as well. So. And maybe the important thing is that under the umbrella of the digital identity, we can cover. I mentioned that already. We can cover all the regulation things and help the business channels really to focus on the business value. I mean, I wanted to maybe show some of the examples that, like, not really being too much theoretical about it, but we have nice examples that are working. One example from the Czech Republic that we have is, for example, the increase of the usage of e-government services over past 12 months. And this was really only be possible because the banks joined the ecosystem. The banks starting to, you probably know that, banks were become able to provide a digital identification to the government services. Essentially, what does it mean? I can use my identity that I have from the bank to access the government services. And that immediately caused that over the past 12 months, we have 50 times more usage of the government digital services, only because the government services was able to use by something the user is used to work with every day. So that's very important. And maybe one of the this is the when I look at the portion of how many login requests are made through the banking identity. So I'm using the identity method I have from the bank is almost 60%. So you can see that it's quite a lot. Where we still have a number of other tools available. So we believe that this is something that it helps. To improve the overall user experience, for example, implementing the single sign-on features. I mean, when I'm already logged into a bank service, I want to use another one. I mean, why not to use the single sign-on features if they are available? Outsourcing the security and the regulation to the banking identity framework is also simplifying the development of the business channel. So there is less effort required to creating new business channel, new business application. And here also in real life we see that it helps to reduce some of the cost of the changes. And it's also not improving the day-to-day interactions, but also really can help you to, kind of open new business relationship, create new space for serving products and services, whether it's through the strategic partnerships that you may have with some organizations that are providing different type of service, but somehow it's related to you, or there are new use cases available, like to provide the identity to a third party. Maybe I have just to add two real life use cases. I mean, just for you to understand what I'm talking about. I mean, let's have it on the use case on an example of SME Banka is one of their client, and me as a client want to use the services of the SME Banka. As part of the process, we by the digital identity we implemented something what is called the identity provider. The identity provider is responsible for all the day-to-day login in procedures. You know, the security, the compliance, perform the strong customer authentication, maybe for transaction signing as well. Why we did that? Why also the bank wanted to implement that? Because it simply simplifies the interactions with the customer. If there are new and additional channels of the bank available, and I simply can use the single sign-on to the another channel, and don't really need to complicate the login process for another channel. And maybe from the outside organization perspective, this IDP can simply also work as a data provider and can provide identity data to a third party in case there is a relationship between the customer and the bank, and the customer is consenting or is okay with that the banks will provide the data. So only an example, you may probably know that using it if in case you're using some of the social services, or maybe, for example, Google. It works pretty much the same way. So it's based on some standards that are pretty matured on the market. So another example is of the implementation could be from Česká spořitelna, when we have the login page. That's something that the customer sees every day. Because you have some different interactions with the customers, each and every customer is different, then it's good to have the login procedures that are adopted based on what type of authentication means does the client have, what do we know about the customer, whether it's a risky transaction. So simply adopt these interaction and just quickly perform the login procedure, for example, by confirming it on the mobile device. So this could be easily implemented. And if I want to implement another implementation or security method, that it's changing on one place and it don't need to impact all the business channels. So maybe just to wrap it up, I mean, we do have a business channels. Let's think about delegating some of the security and regulation things on the identity, because it can simplify it and maybe open quite new opportunities. And as the ADAS2 is coming to the market, we believe that this concept is something that will work in the whole ecosystem and will support overall the integrations and enable you additional onboarding procedures as well. So thank you for the time. That was just the summary. And I'll pass my word to colleagues. Thank you.